You know, a couple of years ago, when I was doing the markets, I'd be sitting there drawing away, and I was always surprised by the amount of people that would come up and talk to me and say, oh, I can't even draw a stick man. I wish I could draw. And I used to say to them, hey, if you can hold a pencil and write your name, you can learn to draw. You just got to want to enough. And I'd say, look, remember when you learnt to write? Well, no, you didn't. None of us can remember when we learnt to write. But we did. So it's the same sort of process. Drawing is the same. It's definitely something you can learn. You've just got to practice. I'm Robbie Greer from Rusticated-Art, and this is my Fun Times Family Art playlist where you get to draw along with me from the comfort of your own home. Now today's short tutorial is actually a request from one of my subscribers. Following on from last week's tutorial on drawing hair, this week she asked me if we could do men's hair, shorter hair. So I thought, yep, looks like we're going to be doing that now. So that's what this is all about. Now, the equipment you're going to need today is an HB pencil, and if you've got a 4B or 6B, one of those as well. If not, just make do with an HB. If you haven't got one of these, a mono eraser, just an ordinary razor will do. One like this, just an ordinary one, and just get your sharp knife or a pair of scissors and just cut, you know, a little strip off it so you've got a piece that's fine, taking out the highlights. Yeah, you'll need a brush, brushing away the crumb. Any old brush will do, as long as it's soft. You'll need a blending stump, but if you haven't got a blending stump, one of these will do, a little cotton bud, and of course you're going to need something to draw on. Now I use an A3 sketching pad, but if you haven't got a sketching pad yet, just a piece of printing paper will do the job. Printer paper, there. So we need to get started, but I do strongly suggest that you get your own little sketchbook, get a set of pencils. They're not expensive. You don't need the best stuff just yet. So what do you reckon? You ready to get started? Come on then. Today we're going to be looking at drawing hair. A man's hair, short hair. Now, one of the things when you're drawing hair is it's really about the direction that the hair is going in. So I've got his eyes in here, just got a head here, and so we're going to say that he's got quite a high forehead. Just going to roughly pencil all this in. And sideburns coming down there. The main thing, I guess, is to have a starting point. Now, when I say like the shape, so let's just say that the main shape is going to be going this way. It's going to go up. It'll come along here. Go over here like this. And so just blocking it in, just trying to get the direction of the hair. There's a bit of a fancy hairdo, this fella, so he's got a bit of a cowlick going over here. So you see how we've sort of got this bit here, going like that, and we've got this bit here, and then of course we've got all these little bits in here, because these here, I'll make that a bit thicker. Yeah, just take your time, don't be in a rush. This bit here is coming over the front of this bit here, and that sort of just comes around here like this. Now the side, the hair doesn't just go straight down. It goes out in all sorts of directions. So really I'm just blocking it in. And same here. It sort of comes down like that. I'm going to get my dark pencil. Just going to put in the darks first. So you want sharp pencils for this. So I started with an HB. Now I'm going to be using the 4B. And what I want to do is remember last week we did the strokes? Well, it's the same sort of a stroke, the tapered stroke. So I find I sort of got to go with the flow in the direction of the drawing. I'm not too concerned about making individual hairs. We're more just trying to get the direction. and just play around with it, you know. Have a bit of fun. Now it's going to be a bit darker in here. Well, actually, in here you find that there's usually sort of, I don't know, it's really fine sort of a hair just around where the roots are. Alright, and then up here, right on the roots, it always seems to be a bit darker. And going to be darker in here. It's pushed back. In the darks first. Now it pays to use a reference photo when you're drawing hair, especially here, because it's always going off in different directions. So what I find is when I use a reference, it comes out a bit there. And you don't have to stick to the reference. The reference is only just a guide. That's all that's for, just to show you roughly where everything goes. And because this cowlick is coming over, darker in here. There's always a few flyaways too. Alright, now, next thing we do is we blend it. So I'm going to get my little blending brush. Just come in and just gently, we don't want to go too hard, I don't want to take away everything. Just want to blend it all in. Soften it up. Then I'm going to go there with my 4B, and I'm going to come in there. Just going to make it a little bit darker in places. Be always a bit darker at the roots. Flicking motions. I might even go a little bit darker yet, but to start with, I'm going to start taking out a few highlights, or putting in a few highlights, and by that we're just taking out some graphite, and that'll create those highlights. And go over it again, just give it a little blend. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, because you're going to. But with this type of drawing, you're going to be putting bits in, taking bits out, adding more, building up layers. It's always about layering, always. Because that's how we create the depth, and we're able to give our drawing some texture. We're just slowly building the drawing. Slowly coming forward. More highlights in there. Could come out a little bit here, I guess. Just using short strokes of my pencil on its side. I sort of smudged it a bit. There's the ear. Because he's got quite short hair on the sides. Now I just use a small paintbrush, a soft one for this, and then of course I use my pencil, eraser. It pays when you're using the graphite, even though I'm wearing a glove, to put down a bit of paper, because it's so easy to smudge, and the paper I'm using is it really is. It's very sort of blotting paper type, and it's very easy to smudge. Alright, then we'll go back over it again, and that's really what we're doing. We're just going over it, putting in the darks, and the mid-tones, and the lights. Just using short strokes here, just for the short hair. Close to the skin is darker. The roots are.
Just tapering my pencil strokes. Gentle blending.
Yeah, I'm going to use a dark pencil now. I'm going to use my Polychromos. Really, this is the darkest pencil I'd have. I really was going to make that a bit shorter, but I forgot that I was going to do that. So the hair, I mean, coming down here, but that's all right. It's just shorter strokes.
Now you don't need a Polychromos black pencil. Just use the darkest pencil you've got.
It's quite dark in there because that's the cowlick going over the hair, and this is sort of swept up. And then it sort of comes down like this.
Now this is a good example of how layering actually works. You can see how I'm going over it and what it's doing.
I'm not trying to do individual hair strands. Soften that up. Obviously this guy's hair is very well maintained. Not like my hair. What's left of my hair, I should say. And we'll just take out some highlights and use my electric eraser for this.
But you don't need an electric eraser.
So virtually where there's a dark, I want to put a light. That's what creates that sort of a shadow.
I mainly use my electric eraser just to speed things up a bit, more than anything.
Because it'll be lighter on the top, because that's where the light's coming from. Well, I mean, that's a pretty basic, but you get the idea of it. It's the same as we did before. It's just building up layers, and then what we do is we just stand back and have a look. With the darker graphites tend to leave a little bit of a sheen. So that's why when I'm doing real darks now, I prefer to use the Polychromos Faber-Castell because you don't get that sheen, graphite sheen. But I don't mind it.
It's really a part of just using graphite.
So I suppose I better put a couple of flyaways in there. You see how it's sort of smudged over there? Especially after me saying, shouldn't really do that, but I should have put down a bit of paper. But never mind. You get the idea. There you go. That's how you do MENS here. Hang on. Best be a flyaway there, remember? So, I'm going to just take a bit of that out. Alright, well that's just a quick tutorial on how to do a different style of hair, a different style of MENS hair. Now the main thing I find when you're drawing hair is, especially when you're practicing, is to use a reference photo. Just download something on Pixabay, and what you do then is look at the shapes, because it can get quite confusing, and you don't have to do it exactly like the reference photo, but get the different shapes of which way the hair's going, you know, if it's wavy, and just put that in, and just take your time. Start at one point, have a starting point, and just work from there. Now, this week's shout out goes to another very special channel, and it's
now today's shout out is to a channel called L's Adventures. Now I've only recently come across this channel as well, and I'll tell you what, he's got some amazing content on here. He's another one of these guys that love going out and showing us around all the different sites, things that we'd never see, you know. And I really enjoy that, especially because he's very diverse. He's got winter scenes, all different times of the year. So when it's snowing, when it's hot. Oh man, I've got so much I've got to see here. Jasper National Park, Part 1, Part 2, Part 3. Probably goes even more than that. Or Part 4. Oh look, there's a lot of stuff here that, man, I've got to come back and watch some more of this. Now Elle is the husband of Donna, of Donna's Adventures. And together, man, they make a pretty good team. They're from Edmonton in Alberta. Oh, I've got to watch this one here. There's a history at Fort Edmonton Park, Alberta, 1846, 1920s. I'm going to mark that one, watch later. Now, there we go, watch later. Yep. Searching for bison. You don't even see them on the old cowboy and Indian movies. It's places like this that, or channels like this that really show you things that, you know, the average person's never going to get to see. I'm certainly not going to get to see it. Now, I think you'll find if you jump on over there to L's Adventures. That's L, capital L's Adventures. I know you're really going to enjoy it. You've got a nice way of talking, real calming way of talking. But when you get the chance, jump on over there. Tell them Robbie from Rusticated-Artist sent you. Share a bit of the love, you know. We've got to support each other as small YouTubers. Oh, I'm looking forward to seeing more of that.
Now check this channel out, because I'm pretty sure you're going to like it. And like I always keep saying, you know, us small YouTubers, we've got to support each other. And that doesn't mean we just sub for sub, because you know sub for sub never works. In fact, you'll get kicked off the platform. But if you do enjoy the content, all I'm saying is, why not support them? Well, now, this week's motivational quote: let go of trying to control how other people perceive you. You are only in control of yourself. People will make up their mind about you regardless. Yeah, that's so true. And that's a quote from Ash Elves. Now, if this is the first time you've been here and you feel you're getting some value, give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment and share it with your friends, because if you like it, the chances are your friends are going to like it just as much. And if you haven't yet subscribed, hit that red button, ring the bell, that way you'll get notified every time a new video comes out. Now, if you're new to my channel and would like to see more, then this card up here is the one for you to watch next. That goes right back to the beginning of my Fun Times Family Art. Well, that's about it for this week. Hope you enjoyed the video. So take care out there, my friends, and we'll see you next week. Same time, same place.